Welcome to the Big Black Tent. I'm Naima Freedom,
I'm Natalie, her sidekick.
and today is MLK Day,
Yep.
Monday, and Inauguration Day.
And soon to be snow day, winter
Oh,
weather storm if you are in Houston or
that's
in the South in general. It's going to not be all that great. Well, it's going to be great because of snow, but other than that, it's not going to be great.
that's right. That's right. It's gonna be snow
I
road day.
know.
Okay,
You got
okay.
excited?
I'm excited for so many reasons. So many reasons.
Okay, let's hear it.
Number one, I feel a humongous, it just be me, a humongous shift, like a humongous something.
Okay.
Um, and depending on right where anyone is in their perspective or walk, it could well, it's all gonna benefit us no matter what, but whether it feels good or not, right? Um, depends on where we are. So at first I felt extreme dread, like I was sensing and feeling extreme dread. Um, but now I feel like, okay, the things that need to be dreaded should be dreaded. I feel like things that are in the dark must come to the light. I was rewatching the Jeffersons and All in the Family, and for some reason I was rewatching those things,
Okay.
and I was like, look how honest America was. Look
Ciao.
how honest it was. Everybody knew where each other was coming from. It was just all out in the open. I think this is an opportunity for us to like any domestic abusive relationship when you decide to go back.
Mm.
This is an opportunity to enter the doors with your eyes wide open. So I encourage everybody to watch the inauguration or to at least view clips because we need to have our eyes open. You need to see what you've bought. You need to see what
But
this
some people are
current
going to say they didn't buy it. Some people are going to say I didn't buy this. So, you know, I don't need to see what I bought because I didn't buy it.
well, as somebody whose ancestors didn't buy nothing for several hundred years,
That is true.
right? You still need to understand what's going on because
Oh, yeah.
if you've been at Walmart, any Walmart,
Oh, dear
right, the
Lord.
screaming on aisle one is eventually going to affect you on aisle three. Okay.
This is
So,
why I don't go to Walmart, but okay, yeah.
right. Or in today's vernacular, a fire over there may
Hmm.
affect your house over here. So I understand people have a hard time of saying, well, what's this have to do with me, right? And our selfish, scheme of things. It all has to do with us and we're all complicit because we're living here on this planet. So if for nothing else, I remember this old movie. I think it's with Nicolas Cage, and there was a young boy. I don't know if it was a drummer boy, but it was this huge war, the Knights of Templar, whatever going on,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Ding, ding, ding. And he said, "What can I do? I can't defend myself. There's nobody to play the drums for." And he said, "You, child, will bear witness, and you will tell the story of this tale." So, for nothing else, I need folks to bear witness with the truth. Don't close your eyes. Keep your eyes wide open, peel back, and bear witness and write down the truth that you see. Okay, that's my
Okay.
sermon for today.
Okay. We got us a good Monday morning, something another. Yes. And yes.
See my Meemaw
Uh,
hat, look, trying to hide my gray hairs. Bear witness.
I don't even know what is happening. Okay. If you are so in tune to watch it, then watch it. Um, if so, I've never been in any kind of domestically violent situation. Um, I have never been in a situation where I stayed when I didn't like the outcomes.
Hmm.
Like outcomes I couldn't navigate through. Um, so I mean, if you want to pay attention and it's not going to give you a heart attack and make your blood pressure go up and all, because we also don't need you passing out and going to the hospital, getting angry over stuff that you can't control anyway. Um, then I mean, I think I don't think you have to. So I'm not an experiential learner, right? I'm not a person who has to experience something in order to learn the thing. I know it's a lot of people who live a life where they gotta feel it, gotta do it, gotta whatever to learn the I'm not that person, right? It's why I was a good kid, because I'd see other people and and I'm like, oh, so that's what happened when you do that. Okay, never mind, I'm not gonna do that. So and it's the same thing with like business. You look at other how what happens when other businesses fail and the lessons learned and all that, and then you do something different. So I'm not a person who just goes out there seeking to learn from the experience of a hard knock life. Like that's not my job. I don't feel like that's my ministry. It's not what I need to do. So I don't think you need to re-traumatize yourself if you're gonna be traumatized by watching it. I think you can look at the data points and you already know, like, there's this whole thing with TikTok. And this is what I find, we talk about freedom all the time on this show, and we talk about how people like the freedom, but they like their version of freedom. They don't want the freedom for the other people. They just want their idea of freedom. So I'm looking at TikTok and the Supreme Court, which is supposed to be the supreme law of the land. It is the thing. Congress writes the bills, the president's office, the executive branch, they sign the bill and put the bills into action through policies. And then when there is discourse, the Supreme Court settles that discourse. And whatever the Supreme Court says, that is the law. Okay, that's how our country is set up. We got the three planks, the three pillars. That's how we do it. And the TikTok thing, so the Supreme Court ruled that they were not going to undo the law that was saying that TikTok needed to be sold or be removed from the United States platform of people being able to access it. And they made that decision on like a Friday or Saturday before President Trump takes office on the Monday. So President Biden was still president. President Trump is still elected president, but not seated president. You're not seated until you put your hand on the Bible, do the swearing in, all things. And then President Trump said, well, no, because I won the youth vote on TikTok, which, by the way, he did not win the youth vote. He didn't win the youth vote on no platform, including at the ballot box, but that's neither here nor there. I won the youth vote on TikTok. I now see value in this, because in 2020, he didn't see value in TikTok. He wanted it gone as well. Now he sees value in it because it serves his purpose, and whatever, that's fine. And it would be fine if the Supreme Court hadn't already ruled that they're not going to work. It's not going to work, and we need to shut them down. It's not going to work. So he has decided to tell all of Silicon Valley and all of the owners of TikTok in China to basically ignore the Supreme Court. I'm going to write an executive order as soon as I take office that gives any of the tech companies who help TikTok sustain their operational abilities in the United States immunity. So you won't suffer any fines from making sure that people still have access to TikTok in the United States. And I'm going to extend it. I'm going to extend TikTok's ability to find a buyer. Granted, the owner of TikTok has said they are not interested in selling. They do not want to sell. So everybody on TikTok, when it went dark for the 2.5 seconds that it was dark, all the creators are crying, oh my God, bring us back TikTok, all the things, all the stuff. And now everybody is celebrating Donald Trump for him ignoring the ruling of the Supreme Court and and telling TikTok they can continue to operate. Now, what had happened when TikTok went dark was that the Play stores that hold the application itself basically removed the application. You couldn't access any of TikTok, really BitSpace or whatever the parent company is, any of their applications, they got removed from the platform. So when you go to the Apple store or the Google store or whatever where you download your apps, you couldn't download the apps. Now, technically, if you already had the app on your phone, it would just keep working in theory, right? Unless the application got blocked by some way somehow. But until you needed until you needed an update for it to continue to function, you in theory could still function. It could still function in theory, right? But you definitely weren't going to be downloading TikTok from none of the platforms. And then creators were, some of them were struggling and, had gone black. And TikTok had a little message up that said, we can't give you access to it because of the law. It's banned in the United States and whatever. So everybody was off and everybody was hollering. And Donald Trump comes through with an executive order that just says, forget what the Supreme Court says. We're going to do it my way. I don't care what the law of the land is. And people are celebrating that. And the problem with celebrating that is that now he can write, you're basically establishing the runway for him to use a pen to usurp everything. So your 1 through 10 amendments, he can just be like, yeah, no, we don't like that Second Amendment. We're gonna get rid of that. We don't like that First Amendment where you get to say what you want to say and practice what you want to practice with it. We don't like that either. Everybody gonna be Christian. We getting rid of that one. We also don't like the 14th Amendment and the 13th Amendment, where you get to maybe just be free, sort of, kind of by illusion. We're going to get rid of that one too. So you then are enabling a person who gets to decide. You've basically set up a dictator at this point in time. A person who, with a pen in their office, can write something that completely signals to everybody, you don't have to listen to the law of the land as we've established it in this country. You only need to listen to me and what my pen will dictate. And there goes everything, which also means, oh, you thought I was leaving office in 4 years? Yeah, I'm getting rid of that one too. I'm going to be here until.
He said it was going to be the last election. He said it's the last time.
I mean, at this rate, if what he does with TikTok goes unchallenged, then it will be the last election, because at that point he can sign an executive order that does anything, and then everybody who is a person of color should be prepared for all sorts of problems, like, you don't need a job, and then we really are going to be in Handmaid's Tale because women won't be able to have bank accounts and what I mean, like it's
like it used to be.
It'll be right. It'll be whatever. The First Amendment won't, but nothing. Your right to privacy, your Fourth and Fifth Amendments, your right to a speedy trial. Like, he could just basically just say all the first and then the Bill of Rights. Let's get rid of them all. We just to rule by how I say we rule with this pen till I die. And then I'm gonna say who my successor is, and then that's what's gonna stand. Period.
The reason why I said, because I think there are those of us who need it, who are in charge. The reason why I said for experience, I like the way you said that, experiential learners to open their eyes, is because when I first went to the shelter for women, right, for domestic violence, when I first went to the shelter, the one thing that you learn, right, there's a domestic violence wheel. There's a printout that anybody can get on PDF. It's called the domestic violence wheel. And all the women in my group, it was if we could complete each other's sentences, right? Because indicators are missing, all types of things, right, from our lives. And part of that wheel are the highs and the lows, like the the gaslighting.
It's called a domestic violence wheel.
Yeah, that's what I remember it as. If you Google it, it will pop up.
It right now. Keep talking. I'm Googling. Okay.
So the crazy thing about this is that we thought we had these individual, embarrassing, shameful experiences when we realized that this was a type, that this was a program, so to speak. And we all had extremely similar experiences in which we can complete each other's sentences, because the steps, the process, the indicators were the same.
Okay.
And
Oh, it is a wheel.
the shocking thing about that was that we all learned, because they say most women who eventually get out of that trap leave at least 7 times. At least you leave and go back at least 7 times.
Wow.
And one thing that we knew is that each time you go back is far worse. It is far worse. And what you just described, that whole enablement piece, was I'm gonna give you, I'm going to, there we go.
That's the
There
wheel.
we go.
That's the
And I'm
wheel.
like, America needs to understand that this is where she is. This is where Black folks have been for eons, unfortunately, in this country. But now everybody get on this plantation. Everybody's in the shelter. You start with, he didn't ban TikTok, right? But he violated a rule, the supreme law, in order to give you what you wanted. Like you said, I am missing this whole coercion thing because it's what I want. You're enabling this behavior by being a participant
Mm-hmm.
with this behavior. But the thing is, there's a thing called crazy making. You start to doubt your own reality because your indicators start to disappear. The gaslighting, you don't have defenses against it, can be so volatile that you doubt your own reality. Like you're saying, you
Mm-hmm.
doubt that this person created this problem to begin with. So it's like you're the I create the problem to save you from it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that whole trauma bond, I'm gonna beat you, but then I'm gonna make you soup and I'm gonna buy you a Gucci bag, or I'm gonna do whatever I feel like, get you on cloud 9, even though I'm the one that caused the issue.
Right.
Right. So you run to your abuser to save you. Then you have the time of your life while you're on those highs, and then here swings the lows.
Yeah.
So that is my issue, is that we're ignoring main indicators. The youth are like, I just got what I wanted,
Right.
right?
Not just
And
the
there's also,
youth, everybody. Everybody
well,
on TikTok, like, I got what I wanted.
yeah, yeah. So I'm like, welcome. And unfortunately, they're about to get a really horrific lesson in, you can't abuse, you can't have a personality where you beat your wife and then you come to work and be so respectful to everybody else, right? So you may be that person at work, but the point is you're still an abuser, whether you do it at
Right.
work or not. And unfortunately, they're like, well, he's good to me. He did
Right.
something for me. Like,
Right.
no, you don't understand. He still kills people and has people in his basement.
Right. Right.
What?
Right. Right.
Right?
Right.
That's going to somehow filter to you, like somehow it still exists. And so,
Right.
yeah, we're in this Hitler Nazi situation, but dare I say, far worse, because mass populations don't understand the indicators. Now, when you know how to maneuver, like when you're conscious and you're aware, that's exactly who that devil is, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what the devil do. Then you can maneuver around it,
Right.
right? I feel like you can maneuver around it. But when you're still, so happy because you got TikTok and you don't see that left hook coming,
Right.
right?
And it's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. And every time it comes, it's far worse than the second, because you have enabled the level of violence, the level of
Oh, right.
coercion, the level of, yeah,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No,
yeah, it becomes justified.
I mean, I don't even know if you have to be in a domestic violence situation to understand kind of that's just
Power control dynamics.
that's people and boundaries, right? The when you in general, right? No, whether it's, domestic violence or just use establishing boundaries, when you allow people to overstep that boundary, they don't just they don't just on that first time, they're just going to step over the line. And then you'll be like, oh, hey, whatever. And then they'll be like, oh, I didn't know. Okay, great. Then they'll do it again, but they'll go a little further. Same with kids, right? Like if you don't curtail the behavior, then they just keep pushing the ball further and further and further. And that is most humans in general. It is. I mean, it's most humans in general. It's most humans in general. Most humans don't understand boundaries. They definitely don't understand boundaries when you're the one who put them up. It takes a lot, again, it takes a lot of self-awareness to see
True.
yourself in a situation to understand the role you play in that situation, to acknowledge that role that you play. So not just know that you play it, but then acknowledge you play it, and then know what you need to do. So either you don't continue to play that role, or
That
that
part.
you do continue to play that role if that's the role that you want and how you maneuver inside of that space. And a lot of people just don't have it.
Yeah.
It's why everything is so raggedy right now with humans, because people just don't have it. I mean, people just don't, they don't have it. And it's reflective. It's reflective in corporate America. It's reflective in our politics. It's reflective in our personal relationships. It's reflective all over the place. We just don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Ooh, it's also a reminder that we, at a certain age, right? I understand if you're still under the care of parents, but we at this age have to remember that we're not victims, that we have choices, choices, choices,
Mhm.
choices,
Talked about that the last time.
um, choices, choices, choices. So, with that said, I have been thinking this is something we've talked about before. Oh, I got a chance to go to, and I can't figure out my eyeballs on this screen. If I need, if I need to turn back this way, like
Now
I'm
you're
losing it.
sideways. Okay, now you're narrow but straight up.
Are my eyeballs doing what they're supposed to do?
Yeah, eyeballs, they look like they're looking at me. I don't know. You know. I don't know.
Myself crazy. Okay, I'm gonna stay this way because my
Yes.
eyeball.
Yes.
Um, so I went to the Black Woman Healing Circle.
Yes. You were going to tell us all about this experience.
Okay. So it was very simple, but very powerful, right?
Okay.
Nothing
This is good.
complicated. This was the first time, according to the facilitator, um, that Black women had met in a group at Unity in their history. And I think Unity Houston had gotten together in the 20s, right?
Okay.
So 100 years at Unity. Um, the interesting and the impetus about the meeting was frustration over the election results. So
Okay.
I'm talking about our mother's age, women in their 70s, having done a lot of worked through civil rights, Jim Crow era, and getting to this part of the dream, if you will, and saying, are we back where we started? Or has this never changed? Like my efforts, I'm tired.
Hmm.
Um, so the room was a mixed room. I don't think
Mixed
I
room
saw
of
too many.
age or mixed room of demographic? It was only
I'm
Black
sorry.
women, right?
Yes, only Black
Okay.
women.
Okay.
Mixed room of uh, age and maybe even nationality. And I'll bring that up in a
Okay.
minute. That was
Okay.
so we went around the room, and women were from all over the country. Um, some of them steeped in New Thought metaphysics, but everyone basically agrees, since we're at Unity, that we're more New Thought in spirituality, I guess, if you want to say that.
Okay.
Um, but we were supposed to introduce ourselves, and we're supposed to, tell, why we were there, or response to the politics. And the theme was respecting everybody's privacy, but the theme was a sense of frustration, right? Not just with the political landscape, but the frustration, exhaust of living here in our skin with our history.
Okay.
Um, and what this might mean for the future, in spite of, our mother's work, our father's work in the past, right? I felt like it was a reflective space of just having taken a deep breath of Black women absence from this. I thought this was really remarkable. So the administrators, majority of the ministers in that church, it's white, right?
Hmm.
American white. Um, and in that space, those ministers were not there. And I say that having grown up in white spaces, white religious spaces, that there's usually a check-in, there's usually an introduction. Now I'll leave y'all to it. There's usually some type of
We're here.
subconscious, yes.
Hmm. We're
Right,
here.
right, right.
Never
But
forget we're here.
right, right, right. Usually,
Hmm.
but they weren't. And in fact, dare I say, they weren't in the building.
Okay.
Right. They weren't in the building. It was Black women who greeted me. We were like in the art gallery bookstore. area.
Okay.
It was sisters. I thought, oh, that was the first indicator of, oh, okay, because I've been in many workshops there,
N-
and
Now let me
hasn't
ask
been
this
like that.
question. Do all of
Yes.
those people attend Unity, or did they partner with some other group to have the Black presence available to support the workshop?
To my knowledge, all those women attend Unity.
Okay. Okay.
To my knowledge,
That's good. Okay. Okay. Cool.
because they were going around saying such. So
Okay. Cool.
yeah. And how they got there and why they got there and what they were
Okay.
looking for, etc.
Okay.
Um, and I learned later those weren't all the women, Black women at Unity. There are actually more.
There are more who did not come.
I
Oh my God.
expected those 30 was it. I just
I'm sure there are more. I'm sure there are more. People who was like, I'm not supposed to go to this. I need to go get my nails done, or I'm gonna
right,
read a
right.
book, or I got work to do.
So, so I enjoyed that autonomy piece, right? That I don't think
Mhm.
I've seen before. And dare I say this much,
Okay.
even in the Black church, even in the mosques, I don't think I have ever seen Black women congregate autonomously without the covering of a man. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Or reference to pastor or to you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Or pastor. It felt, and what my eyes saw were a space of autonomous Black women,
Okay.
right? In absence of white folks, in absence of Black men, right? It
Okay.
was just us.
Okay. Okay.
So I was like, okay, I don't think I've ever been in this type of space
Hmm.
before. Um, and I have to say, the vulnerability, the openness, was very impressive. It was one meeting without, it was one meeting. I think it was a bit of a response.
Okay.
Um, I did hear from the women that they said that the Black women had the most to say about this, that he was receiving a lot of, right, the way that you guys have responded to this has been in mass,
Okay.
um, and in a very unique way compared to the rest of the congregation. Um, there are plans to meet again, but I think it was a bit of I don't want to say impromptu response, but I think it was a unique response with no structure to it yet, but
Okay.
with an openness to move to the next thing,
Okay.
but to see what the interest might be and what this might become,
Okay.
since it was the first.
Yep.
And what it really dinged on me was the work that I was doing. I kind of dropped off was when we talk about Black women in living spaces, Black women in rest, Black women in restoration, um, Black women building one with another,
Hmm.
that there is a definite need for that. All these women were talking about all these things that we've talked about on this podcast.
Okay.
I was like, wow, they're saying the same things that we've repeated, um, but there's just no structure to it, but there's definitely an agreement and some energy behind it.
Okay.
Um, and we were excited about that. So it was just good to see it materialize, even if there's no structure or map to it yet.
Hmm.
Um, the last time I've heard of something like this happening but not happening was the Womanist Prose, by Alice Walker when she met with Coretta Scott King that we talked about before.
Hmm.
And Shirley Chisholm was running for president, and she was asking Coretta Scott King, because you have to say her whole name, um, why Black folks and especially Black women weren't coming out to support her and were supporting, this white dude at the time. I can't remember who it was at the time. Um, and I never forget what she said. She said, Black women have not had their own woman's movement. We've been so busy with trying to keep our men from just being lynched, right? Because I have to remember this is a time when Black women can have their own credit cards, their own loans, right? Their own land, women, period, but especially us. Um, so our survival depended on their survival.
Hmm.
Um, so fast forward, we've never had our movement. We've never had our movement. And I can't help but think this time that this is our movement. This is our movement. This is our time to restore ourselves. not marching the street. Have you seen that
Right.
picture with a town is burning and the black women sipping tea? Black women sipping tea. Have you seen that
No, but
image?
I feel like that's pretty much life. Everything in flames. Like, yeah,
Right.
but it
That's
is.
yeah. That's kind of been our, well. It's just I forgot the artist's name, but he's got these prints everywhere now. Um, Black women on rooftop watching the city burn, sipping tea. Um, I'm like, man, we need a 400-year long restoration movement, right? Not to check out, but to really check in and build
Right.
for ourselves with each other. We've never tried that part.
I mean, we have tried. We have tried in the past, through the different towns that were established um that were black towns, forced black towns, right? Because it was
Yeah.
still we were still in either a segregated South, also segregated North, no matter what they want to say about themselves, and Jim Crow and all of that. So I mean, we have tried, oftentimes met with resistance from and outright violence from the white people who, when they saw things being built and established and growth and some amount of economic um, positive trajectory, were deeply offended and then decided to burn things down or bomb things or terrorize neighborhoods or whatever the case may be, right? So, I mean, we have tried. They have it has happened in the past.
I'm
Um,
not sure that we've been able to do it in absence of, not to say it's a bad thing though with our community, an absence of patriarchy, where we still weren't, even within the midst. And look, this is not for white folks, this part, and I'm going to say this loud because it's our business. And the absence of patriarchy, meaning the sexism that exists in our community in response to safeguarding our community. So maybe having to submit. I'm not talking about submission to love. I'm talking about submission to ego, and that maybe you can't get on the pulpit, right, because you're not the man. Maybe what you have to say might be a little less because it has to be filtered through a man who speaks to God. Such as when the women of the Black Panthers, they describe sexism in a lot of their circles. I experienced sexism within the midst of the Black churches I belong to. Um, that Black woman being autonomous in her power and equal is a representation of God, even in the midst of our community. So I guess that's what I'm talking about. If we're
okay.
able, have we been able to really be as authentic, and not be under the shade, oppression of even sexism within our community?
Yeah, I mean, I think the isms just exist. They will always, they will always be. It's an unfortunate situation. Again, this timeline sucks. I don't know what to tell y'all. Um,
As a t-shirt.
the t-shirt, this timeline sucks. Um, so I mean, they're gonna be there. I don't. There's no.
Or rather yet, us feeling like we have to submit to those isms, right? It could be there, but a
But that's
space
a you
where,
thing.
well, yeah, that's what I'm
I mean,
saying.
right? That's a personal thing. If you feel the need to submit to the ism, right? Like if you just because just because the black church historically has said, a woman can't lead the church for whatever reason, and whether you believe it or not, who cares? But for historical reasons, with historical data, that's been the predominant prevailing policy of the black church, is that pastors and the leaders of the church were men. What was to stop you to go build your own? Right. So you decided you were going to stay, right? So back to the wheel of whatever, right? You decided you were going to stay and submit yourself to that policy when you could have started a church in your home. You could have started a church in the park. You could have done anything. Um, right? So the isms are there. They will always be there. And they don't they're there, they're restrictive, they're troubling, they are hurtful, they're all those things, and yet you still have choice,
That's true. True that.
right? And so um and I also, the thing that I feel, I think this is why. So when I watched Fruitvale Station,
I never saw that.
um, oh, don't see it. It's a lot. But it's about the kid who in San Francisco was shot and when he was handcuffed on the subway platform because a fight broke out.
Oh,
Um, and it was the story that humanized him, right? It was his life story. So it, showed his him working, his relationship with his kid, his, relationship with, his family, all of that, right? Both the positives and the negatives and all of that. But at the end, and the story it had run in the news headlines already. So, you knew that he what happened in the story. But when I watched the story on film, for whatever reason, when they got to the point where he was shot, and they had people filming, like in reality there were people who filmed it.
oh,
So
really?
yeah, so the director like cut in and out of real life film stuff and
Oh,
the Hollywood version of stuff, right?
wow.
And Rebecca, when I tell you I lost it, I mean, like, I'm not a crier. People know this. I'm not a crier. Anybody who knows me knows I'm not like a super
Not a crier.
emotional, whatever, charged human being or whatever. I lost it in the theater, a packed theater full of people. I lost it. It was so bad that my husband turned to me. He was like, "Are you for real?" Because he thought I was joking. Because I sounded like I don't know what I sounded like. It was a
Really?
guttural, just whatever, and I could not gain control of my tears and my all the things that were in me. The movie concluded. It was about 20 minutes left of the movie. I was loud crying for the last 20 minutes. Then there was like supposed to be this group, like it was at an independent theater, so they were going to do a group conversation about it, and so we were going to that. I cried for about 45 minutes uncontrollable. My husband couldn't console me. It was I just think about right now, it's a lot. And I've like tried to dissect that moment to figure out, like, I knew that what was going to happen. It's not like I didn't know the dude was going to die. I mean, again, he was in the headlines, his family was suing the city, all the things, right? But I think what it did, like, one, I think at that moment in time, every experience I'd ever had just kind of came rushing in, like all the things from all over, everywhere came rushing in. And I don't think people realize how difficult it is to have so many perspectives. Like, I'm here listening to you talk about Black women and us needing to be autonomous and find our voice. And Shirley Chisholm was wondering why Black women weren't supporting her and all these things. And I'm like, but why? Why is that the expectation? Why do I have to like you if you're a Black woman? Why do I have to support you if you're a Black woman? But then the other side of me is like, wait, but you're Black, I'm Black. We got this other enemy that's out here. I need to support. Right? Like, there's this whole. I don't even know how to put it in terms. Like, I don't even know what the phraseology is for it. It is like multiple personalities almost. Like, there's so many perspectives and angles that you have to take in, um
Shut up.
and somehow filter yourself through these things. It's a lot. It's a lot. Like we're
Yeah.
not a monolith, right? Black people
Right.
are not a monolith. And just because you are Black i.e. President Obama, I don't have to like none of your goddamn policies. I don't have to vote for you. I don't have to do none of that just because you black. Like, I don't understand. Like, there is this allegiance. But then the other flip side is that I also understand that there's a much larger enemy at play here. And then you kind of want to link arms and you're like, okay, let's link arms and unite. Even if you're wrong, I'm right. It's like it is a it is a polarizing position to be in as a black person in the United. I don't know what the rest of black people on the planet are doing, but right here in these good old United States is a very polarizing position to be in because of what I just explained. And I think in that moment in Fruitvale Station, all of that came to fruition. I'm a conservative, right? Like everybody, anybody go Google me, you know, good and goddamn roll what I am. I have conservative political views. I believe that the government should be extremely limited, like absolutely nothing, like bare bones, nothing. You got like 5 responsibilities. That's it. Everybody else figure it out for yourself. You know, I mean, that's where your community and philanthropy and all of that other stuff. Welcome, come on in. You can do all that other stuff. It's not the government's role, in my opinion. Um, you know, but but then I'm socially mind your own goddamn business. I'm socially conservative, but I'm also socially mind your business. Like it doesn't matter what I believe, it's your goddamn life. It doesn't matter what I think. It's your life. You gotta wake up with the person that you decided to marry. That's who you gonna wake up with every goddamn day. I'm not getting into bed with y'all. I'm not making coffee for y'all. It don't even matter. So like while I hold my own personal beliefs in various social constructs, it doesn't really matter because it's not my life. So I'm a mind your business, socially conservative person, right? So you get that, plus you get the fact that you're black, you're a female, you're in corporate America, you, you're overweight, you aren't degreed, you add all these things into the mix about all the perceptions that people want you to have and the things you're supposed to support and who you're supposed to go along. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I would just like to normalize the fact that we do not have to, as Black people. I don't know what, I don't even know what to advocate for because I'm like, part of me wants to say, look, be your own person. Black people are not monoliths. You don't have to support something just because it's Black. You don't have to try to find your voice in the, because like I'm a female, right? And you know, women out here talking about independent women, all the women independent, all this Beyonce, Destiny Child, whatever. Look, it's some stuff I don't want to do. I don't want to mow the lawn. I'm happy. I'm happy. So I'm happy to, I don't want to take out the trash.
So my sister, I'm not a man. I'm not trying to be a man.
I'm not trying to be mad at the men who want to do the manly things that we've coined manly things. Y'all have it. I don't want no parts of it, right? So like I want to advocate for people to be what they want to be, but then I also recognize as 13% of the population, like maybe if we had our own country, like if we were in our own little country where it was just the 30 million, how many of a million it is of us, 50 something million, 60 something million of us in our own little country, then we could be more expressive, right? We could be like, oh, I'm not supporting Shirley Chisholm because I'm supporting Bernard Jenkins for president. And that would be fine. But we're not, and we don't have the numbers, and we don't have the support, and we don't have the infrastructure, and we don't have all the things that you need. And so then therefore that kind of creates the impetus for you to have to support these things or to feel compelled to support the things because you don't have the numbers. It's a horrible position to be in, basically. Happy 2025, people.
When you're talking, I pulled two references for you. Because you probably remember reading these back in the day, but The Souls of Black Folk by W.E.B.
I
Du
do.
Bois, where he talked about the veil and exactly what you're talking about, having to be this and be this and have this preference and this point of view. Because, like you said, at one hand, there's a there has been in our history a war on our humanity.
Correct.
And if we take our foot off of that ball, then, you know, something swings back and you miss something that can
That's
affect
correct.
you, right? At the same time, you are a human, right? You are an individual and you deserve your freedom and your humanity to think
That's
separate
correct.
from the group,
Correct.
right? And at the same time, I pulled up, I don't know, I'm not going to say this right, Toussaint Louverture, um, the Haitian revolutionary who specifically talked about how when the Spaniards came, right, and they had something against this enemy, the English, I'm not going to get it right, but he joined Spain. And then when Spain was defeated, then he joined the French because, right? So he kept switching sides in order to
Right.
get the results that he wanted for the
Right.
best for the
This is what you have to
people,
do, kind of, sort of. But it
you
takes a
know?
toll. But that takes a toll on you
It
as
does.
a human. It takes a
It
toll on
does
you
it.
as a
You're
human.
fragmented, you're
You're
fractured.
fragmenting
It's
yourself.
yeah. Yeah, it is compartmentalization. It is war. I
It's
don't know else
war.
how to describe that, but it is a war when you have to put on a mask, pretend, smile, then now you have to go to this place. And we have been taught as Black women subconsciously, maybe not on purpose, but subconsciously, the code switching that you heard your mother, your father do versus the party versus the barbershop versus the interview versus
Mm-hmm.
right how you dress over here versus our hair was a whole political
Yep.
conversation in itself. um all the parts that we have maybe enabled for survival, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe all that movement was an enablement towards a larger abuser just so we could survive instead of saying, you know what, F all this, death is an option, right?
It's an option, yeah.
um and maybe if we choose to just be and stop enabling and say this is what it is, you know, then we'll get a different result. But of course, that's easier said than done, you know, if you don't have, if you're not starving for, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
I
there's a
mean,
way to manipulate
it's
it.
very. I tell people all the time, it's very easy to leave a job when you have another job. It's very difficult to leave a job. You know, people are like, they go start your, leave the thing, follow your path. Okay, well, who paying the light bill? Because some Centerpoint want their money. Okay, let's be clear. Uh, they're not giving you anything necessarily for your money because we about to see if it hold up during this winter storm. But nevertheless, they want their money. It's very easy to say those things, and that's why I tell people, like, people who are like, oh well, Natalie, how did you do what you do or whatever. Yeah, I don't have no kids. It's very easy for me to make all kinds of decisions. I can just up and leave and roll on about my day and do whatever I want to do. I don't have to worry about clothing anybody, making sure they got what they need for school, right? Like, my husband is grown. He take care of his goddamn self. Like, everybody in this house is under this roof to take care of their own self, sans the dog, but that's different. Um, so you make different decisions, right? You make different decisions when you are accountable for the lives of other people. I'm really only accountable for my own life in this situation. So, you know, that creates another layer, right? Which is also why I don't want to have kids. I was like, I'm not bringing nothing into this world. I'm just not. This jacked up is crazy. I don't want them to experience none. I don't want them to have to figure it out. I don't want to see the moment the light goes out in their innocence. Like, I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that. Um, so, you know, there's all these different layers of, and then even in that, like, I feel like, you know, yes, as Black females, yes, we have to be concerned with ourselves, but I also know we have to also be concerned for our Black men, our sons that people are raising, your husbands, your brothers, your fathers, like all of that. And like the historical onslaught of like why Black men don't go to the doctor very often. Well, with historical context, I would not go to the doctor
I want to
either
go.
based on
Hell, I
what
don't want
has
to go
happened to
myself.
me. Right?
I
Right.
don't want to go myself.
Right. Um, so like all of those things, you kind of become the cradle of all of that.
Yeah.
And still see who you are in all of that as well, and trying to figure out which piece, right? It's like chess. Which piece do you move first?
That's a good
You have all
analogy.
these
We've been
pieces on the
playing
board.
chess.
Yeah. Yeah. You have all these
Chess for
pieces on the
survival.
board. Different pieces do different things. And which one do you move in any given situation? Because your attack strategy dictates which pieces you move first, which pieces you aim to move later, all of that. So and I don't think anybody else, and I could be wrong, and maybe we should go talk to some other cultures. I don't know, but I don't feel like any other culture has that.
I don't think so either.
I don't feel like any other culture has that. I don't feel like Asian women have to be concerned that their Asian men or is gonna have something go bad gonna happen to them while they out on the street. I don't feel like Indian whatever. Like I don't white women. Like I don't feel like now they might have other concerns. I'm not saying they don't have other concerns because I don't know culture. I'm not them, so I don't know what is in their culture and whatever specifically. But the history of this country here and us, complex doesn't even begin to express what it is. Um,
Yeah.
and what has happened to us as we internalize all the things, still to this day.
Yeah, that makes me want to just ah. It is and continues to be a journey, especially when you talked about something that that piques our heart. One thing I did say, I could say what I said at the Black Women Healing Circle was that through our matrilineal line, what we've been given, what we have been taught for the duration of our presence here is regardless of what men decided to do, regardless of the education system, regardless of the president, regardless of being enslaved or our children being sold out from under us, we have chosen to figure out and step forward anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I think that's what makes us very different is because
Mm-hmm.
our legacy, or I don't want to call it legacy, our landscape of grief that we've had to travel with the amount of loss, with the amount of
Mm-hmm.
unpredictable reality around us, somehow our mothers have chosen to step forward every time. And here we are,
Mm-hmm.
right? And here we are. And even though, right, a lot of us may have chosen different stations, there's an interesting thing about us that um, is still interested in showing up
Mm-hmm.
beautifully.
I know.
Right? Our hair, our skin, our clothing. Um, we've been taught to get educated in whatever field, be knowledgeable of it, master it,
In all the fields,
regardless
all
in
the
all in
fields,
all the
all the
fields.
things, all the things.
Right. And that has not depended on um any sense of stability, or maybe some generations had it, maybe didn't, but it's just been Trump is just another face in the landscape of,
Mm-hmm.
and he ain't the worst
No, he's not the
for
worst. I
us,
promise you, he's not the worst.
right?
Yeah.
He has not been the worst for us, because we've been mistress, we've been slave, we've been sex
Yep.
trafficked, we've been whatever.
Yep.
Um,
All legally. All
all
legally.
legally,
All legally.
all legally. So I don't know how, but I know it's in our DNA, right? It's in our
Mm-hmm.
DNA. And as I was looking at my son went on his first youth trip away from home without parents.
Oh.
And he is, girl, I cried. And he was looking at me like, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? He is now 14. He has locks. I locked him and his brother's hair over a behavior incentive. Their behaviors mimic the horrible violent situation I'd come from. And so he said he wanted locks. And so it was a behavior agreement. And now his locks are like, right, they're you know,
Okay.
almost to his shoulder, and he's taller than me. He's stronger than me physically, right? Uh, Mom still got him.
Right.
You know.
Maybe not. Mamas be lifting cars off of babies and stuff
Oh, that's
today. I mean,
that's true. That's true. Like he's, and I used to tell him, I used to say, I don't have a, the one speech I gave him since he was 10, I said, I'm raising you to be able to rule your spirit. I said, one day you'll be stronger than me. One day you'll be bigger than me. Right. And I said, I need you to make these decisions for your life for the best for yourself and for those that you take care of. You need to know what to do with your strength. And this is not it. Right. We just kept
Mhm.
having these conversations, sometimes screaming, hollering, cussing. Sometimes he was throwing, it's been rough.
Yeah.
But I see this young man who is entering puberty and who has all the man parts now.
Of course.
Now
Yeah.
I gotta say, go put on some pants.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, and I'm just like, wow, how's this happening? The voice is deeper, you know. I made a gesture to pat his tummy and he moved my hand out of the way and I was like, ah!
Baby.
And my 10-year-old was like, you can pat my tummy,
You
mommy.
bet my tummy is right here. Look. Just out there.
So
It's hilarious.
as we raise these men, right, because they come from us, and I know there's a lot of different factors, influences of our psyche, of our relationships, but the truth is they do come from us, right? They
Yeah.
do come from us. We have birthed humanity, and Black women have birthed every single human in this situation in this country,
Hmm.
regardless of whether she wanted to or not,
Right.
right? Um, and one thing that I'm determined to not be taken away by boundaries and by choice is our right to rest and restore ourselves and build as a
True.
community. That I'm committed to, even as we start within ourselves, within our own boundaries, within the choices we make in our very homes, in our very lives, in our bathrooms, whatever. No matter how small, that if our mothers continue to do it to the point this is where we've gotten, then we can continue to do it in ease with this dude. He ain't,
Hmm. Yeah.
he ain't Andrew Jackson. We got this.
Might be him and reincarnate, but that's different. Uh,
But we have access to more knowledge, right?
we
We have
do.
to more knowledge, to more
We
community,
do.
to more education. We can
We
read,
do.
y'all. We can read.
We
We
can
can read the
read.
signs.
We can read. I know some of y'all ain't using that superpower, but we can read.
We can let's stop and give a pause and a clap of praise for we can read this
We
time.
can read. We can read this go round. Both in cursive, some of us, depending on what your age is, you might not be able to read cursive, but in cursive and in regular print script.
If our captors are millennials or younger, we can curse up our way out of
We
this. They're
cursive
gonna know
our
what
way
we say.
right on out of it, child. We cursive our way right on out of it. They're gonna think we speaking pig Latin. What is this language they have written on this paper, sir?
Or as my 14-year-old says, this was cracking me up. We were in Target and I was getting stuff in strip. I was like, you need this, you need this, you need this. And I'm zooming around the aisles. And he said, oh, if I could have the knowledge of knowing what to get and where to find.
Oh, isn't that all of our quests? That's all of our daily quests. Yes. Yes.
Right? I'm like, look, this ain't bad, Black people. We can read this
We can read.
time, and we know at least look, one of us in the group know how to grow some food.
Everybody knows how to do a little bit of something. That is
Everybody knows how to do
correct.
a little something. Right,
Bit of something.
right. We have enough engineers, teachers, whatever, everything.
Correct.
We're not begging to integrate and get to the college.
Right. Right.
We can read, y'all. We got
We can
this.
read. That's a shirt. That's a shirt right there. We can read. We can read, y'all. That are the y'all. We can
We
read,
can
y'all.
read and we can vote. It may not matter, but we can read.
We can read. We can vote for now. And
We can read. We can write.
we can
We can do
congregate.
math.
We can congregate,
We can congregate.
right? Um, and again, my thing is, and this, I think people like, I think people think that and there might be, don't get me wrong, there could be a cabal that is at the top of all of this, pulling all the strings. It might be, I don't know. But I'm more inclined to believe that it is a group of people who understand their own self-interest and collectively come together in pursuit of their own self-interest. So if you're a billionaire, you congregate with other billionaires because you likely have the same self-interest as those other billionaires, which is how do you continue to make more billions? Who do we need to lobby? What laws do we need to pass? What senators do we need to talk to? What policies do we need put in place? Like all of those things. That's what they do. And people wonder how the power gets a map, but that's why. That's why that is why you can see people who seem like they would not have anything in common, but they're able to get things done. And people are like, oh, it's because of whoever, name whatever secret society you want to name, right? But the bottom line is, it's people who have come together in the pursuit of a self-interest. And I think that's the one thing we as a collective group of people, both as Blacks in this country, as melanated people in this country, and then even other people who are not in that, top 1% or 5% of the population, whatever that is, the bottom quartile group of people, the problem is that they can't align on what's the one thing that is for our best self-interest in this, right? Like what are we going to pursue? And even, again, us as Black people, I don't think we have that one thing that we're like, if we just do this one thing, then we will have seen the needle shift, the ball will have advanced significantly down the field,
I
whatever
think we did that with education. They say
but
get educated.
um
Come on. We have shifted a lot by getting it. Look, it may not be the shift you want, but we are more, we can read. We just
that's
said this.
that is true. Most of us can read. Some of us get to the
Okay,
12th grade
well,
and still can't say that the cat is in the hat. Um,
majority of us
can read.
can read, and that has shifted significantly
Yes,
being literate.
being literate, because that's not educated. We are literate. I'm just saying you said educated, but I mean, again, you got people running around out here crying because TikTok is gone, but your democracy is about to be abolished. Your republic-based democracy, because we are a constitutional republic with democratic representation,
So we
is
need to work
about to
on
be
comprehension,
abolished.
reading comprehension.
And you over here crying tears for an app that anybody can go make again. Like it's a gajillion platform. As you've seen, numerous one. We got Red something, Blue Sky, Red Book. I mean, like it's a gajillion stuff that then pop. They talking about bringing back Vine. Like it's all kinds of platforms that have existed, will continue to exist. And y'all are hollering about TikTok. And then literally, you have a serious issue here with your republic.
I not think about that. They think just about right now. Like a lot of Americans, right? We think about what's in the moment. I get paid this week, the 15th and the first and the 15th, 15th and 30th. Like most people, right, thinking about as far as their income will allow them to think,
But that all goes
unfortunately,
away. That's not the root cause.
right?
That's not the, like that's not the root cause of the issue. So if you if you if the fundamentals aren't there, if the foundation isn't there, right? It's like you can have a beautiful home, but if they put it on dirt, the first rainstorm that come, you're gonna have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So if the
Yeah, we don't know.
fundamentals are eroding and are soon to be absent, then the first and the 15th not gonna matter because you're not gonna have a first or a 15th.
You're right. You're gonna be in the barracks being told what to do
That's
at a
correct.
camp.
That's correct. And again, people always think like these are like outlandish concepts, but it
Look
was
at Iran. Iran in the 70s.
look at the United States when they rounded up all the Asian
Oh,
people and put them in internment camps. Y'all, that was right here in the United States. That was not, they did not go to some other country and do that. They was not in Vietnam doing that. It was right here in the United States,
right.
not even 100 years ago. So it's people who are still alive today who bore witness to that event,
It's true.
right? Like,
In the 50s.
thank you.
In the
So
50s.
like the it's not wild and outlandish when people are like, oh, you should trust medicine. I'm not saying don't trust science, but trust and verify. Like the two go hand in
Right.
hand because again, less than 50 years ago, people was getting injected with stuff that they didn't ask to be injected with. Like these are data points that didn't happen outside of these four
Right.
walls. This happened inside, sanctioned by the government. The people who you elected sanction these things, right? So it's not wild to be like, oh, I mean that's recent history. That's not even chattel slavery history. That's recent history.
Right.
So again, I'm like, what like and this will be the eternal challenge. And I think that's why the people who are highly successful at continuing everybody down these paths are people who understand that we need to align around a common set of goals and then go after those goals. And the other people who are not those people don't recognize that that's what they need to do.
Okay. So basically, so I guess I'm put this in new thought speak, but so you have people who have, like you said, goals, they have a vision, they're sticking to this vision, right? They're other people just kind of out here, right? Swept this direction. They really, wherever you want to put, like they're just in their own world when these
Correct.
things are moving these particular directions.
Correct.
So what would you say? Because Trump, I think at 11 Central, um, noon Eastern, um, he's talked about immigration, right?
Mhm.
Deportation, and he's talked about the loudest things that I hear, right, in my educator mind, Department of Ed, right, coming to an end and mass deportation. That's the two things that I've heard
And ending
that happen
birthright
swiftly.
citizenship.
And
Ending
any
birthright
birthright,
citizenship. So,
like the Germans.
I mean, he's saying if you're born here, that don't necessarily make you a U.S. citizen. I don't know what else it make you, but okay. Because I don't.
Because the Germans do that. They do that.
Mhm.
We born there. Okay. All right.
He got a lot of things. He has the external revenue service that he plans to set up to collect the tariffs. And this is also my thing too, right? Like I, what the part that I find fascinating is people's inability to acknowledge that they chose incorrectly. So, for example, conservatives, my people, I won't say Republicans, but conservatives, are supposed to be this limited government of this mindset of limited government. This dude has already talked about standing up 3 net new agencies. So if you're a person of limited government, shouldn't we be talking about what agencies we're eliminating, not what new agencies we are creating in addition to the ones that already exist?
Uh, I didn't know he was still trying to create new stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, you just expanding, now you've expanded government, which is supposed to be not what you believe in. Same way, like I question the people who were the anti-war people who, when President Obama was in office, and they were anti-war when Bush was in office. They was holding rallies. They was over there in front of Camp David, in front of the everywhere, anti-war. And then President Obama got in office, and suddenly they were okay with war. Well, you either anti-war or
Right.
you not, right?
Oh, which brings me to Gaddafi, right? The Libyan president, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it was news to me. I don't know if this is TikTok or YouTube, whatever. 96, just graduating high school. I remember hearing something kind of summer, but when I saw that he pledged $1 billion to Black Americans
Mm-hmm.
and he was marked as a terrorist, so were a lot of progressive people who
Mm-hmm.
wanted to assist us. So I'm gonna put a asterisk on terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then I understood. Oh, and he was also killed. I heard Gaddafi like,
Oh yeah, they drug him through the streets.
and that is when me and Obama parted ways in my idealism of
Mm-hmm.
him. I like how you use it.
Just waiting.
Um, Now I'm not a historian of him, right? And fact check me, but from what I learned from how he ruled with his people, what benefits they had versus American benefits. Um, I literally when I saw Arco, I thought, damn, we've been trapped. We've been trapped here for a long time. Like, ain't nobody coming out. Oh my gosh. Right. So
I mean,
not to give go ahead,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Man, it just I don't know. Right. I've been piecemealing it for a long time with African leaders. Like I did my stint in African American history with at U of H, and then after that I just kind of been piecemealing it. Um, but man, what a loss to all of us.
I mean, one man's terrorist is another man's liberator. I have no idea. Um, there are people who were in Libya who certainly hated him and protested all the things, and there were people in Libya who loved him and thought he was fantastic, right? I would imagine very much so similar to how we recognize our own leadership here, right? You line up 10 people, and you get 17 different responses as to what's great, what's not great. You got people in the United States talking about it's horrible, we want to leave, it's terrible. You got other people in the United States who like, I love it here, it's great, this is the land of opportunity, all right. So I mean, like it's a bag of mixed, it's a bag of mixed whateverness, right? But yeah, the Libyan government under his rule pledged $1 billion through the Nation of Islam. That was a long, long time ago though. Again, because
It was like
Muammar
96,
Gaddafi he's been gone for forever, and they drug that boy through the streets. Literally.
literally.
But yeah, he had pledged, $1 billion to the Nation of Islam, and they, said that he couldn't accept it because it was terrorist. It'd be like, somebody, one of the leaders and one of the supreme leaders in Iran saying, here's $1 billion for black people. Like, then you can't take it. They're not gonna let you take it because there are sanctions, right? So yeah, they're gonna say, nope, that's terrorist funding and you can't come in.
Wow. So that's okay. So we have moved on anyhow.
We've moved on
Right.
anyhow. We have moved on anyhow. That is correct. Um, yeah, but it's a mixed bag. And I think it's a mixed bag with, again, you talk to people, they love President Obama. You talk to other people, they hate President Obama. You talk to some people, they hate George Bush. Other people, they love George Bush. Like, I'm like, that's the perils of being a leader. You're not gonna appease everybody and give everybody everything. And if you look at a lot of Middle Eastern countries, right, they do a lot for the people who are citizens of their country. Everything from giving them money to once they get married to buy homes and get their family established and all of that to all kinds of other things. But then you also have the same Middle Eastern countries where you know, it's illegal to drink alcohol and, women can't always drive cars depending on what country you're talking about. And some women aren't allowed to go to school. And like, so I mean, again, all over the map,
That's true.
all over the map.
I guess our job is to continue to, like you said, have some serious goals, commit to those goals, find a community that can see those goals to where we want to be,
That's correct.
right? So commit to our true goals, not the goals someone else has for us, but what are our goals, and commit to those goals.
Yeah.
Um, and hold the vision, hold the vision. And I just, well, if I'm coming from just what I've seen right on TV and stuff, and with Malcolm Martin and books that I've read, we had some goals as a community that were realized, and we realized on the other end, like maybe this wasn't right. Give ourselves permission to pivot
Mm-hmm.
when we get new data.
And people don't. People be holding on, child, white knuckle grip. As wrong as it looks, they just be right there like,
I know we do.
letting go.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah. We change the whole change conversation we keep
Mm-hmm.
having, but give ourselves permission to pivot and be flexible. Like you vote, like you said, you vote for Trump, and hey, that wasn't the best choice. I see. Come on over. Come on
Yeah.
and pivot. Let's have a new vision. Let's build together. Like we don't have to.
You don't have to. You can change your mind at any time and pursue a different path at any time. It not to be a New Year's resolution. You do not have to wait till 2026 to do this.
That's right. That's right.
Um,
It could be right now.
yeah. So I mean, I think
Yeah.
I think, people and look, I mean, you've heard people talk about the economic powerhouse that is the black dollar in the
Mhm.
United States. Um, and I think people have determined that, you need to circulate that dollar within your community and all those things. And I'm not disagreeing that you should or whatever, but I also know that your community is limited when you talk about circulating the dollar because you just don't have the infrastructure to do all the things, right? You're not building vehicles. You're going to have to go buy a car from somebody, right? The question is, who are you going to buy the car from? Are you going to buy the car from somebody like I know people who own Teslas right now who are liberal. I mean, like they like all the liberals that was out there buying progressives, all that. They was like, oh, Tesla, and ran out there buying Teslas, been owning them for forever, and you know now they see what this do, which I don't know how you missed it because he was this person 20 years ago too. So I don't know what you thought was happening.
Africana.
Yeah, I don't know what you thought was happening, but he was not in alignment with your progressive views 20 years ago. He still ain't in line with your progressive views today. And so now, but they chose to support a person which essentially gave him the capital, more capital to do the crazy that he is doing now, that they believe is the crazy that he's doing now, right? So again, you may not find you may not be able to circulate that dollar in your specific community or demographic or whatever, but you can certainly find people who support you and your perspective.
Okay.
right? So like now there's this conversation about DE&I and all the companies that are like removing DE&I and dismantling their DE&I programs. You should take note of that. If you're a person who believes that diversity, and I don't mean diversity like you need to have a quota and all this other stuff, but if you believe that unique, diverse perspectives are important, um, and that companies need to be conscious of that in their hiring practices, that they need to be conscious of that within their policies of how people come together and work together, then you need to pay attention to people who are companies that are dismantling their DE&I programs. And then you shouldn't support them.
Walmart.
And you have to make that decision. And there are alternatives, right? So like,
Right.
Costco and Target and Apple, I heard, have doubled down on their DE&I programs. That's what I heard. I heard they were like, "Hey, look, we believe it's important. We think it makes us a better business to have diverse perspectives, people with different backgrounds, all of that." And then there are companies that are dismantling that, like Meta and
Walmart.
Walmart and other places. Now the question is the $5 shirt that you get from Walmart more important than the $7 shirt that you get from Target?
I have a little confession, as I know we need to wind up, but change and habits. I live a stone's throw from Walmart, and Walmart has been, I don't know how I've lived to so many, close to so many Walmarts, but Walmart has been heaven for, it used to be heaven, used to have 24-hour banking. I don't know why I needed that, but the time I did, they used to have 24-hour banking, diaper, right? Everything that you need, get your car, like one stop, right? They used to be low price leader, not anymore, but one stop shop was Walmart. So for busy moms, whatever Walmart was gonna. Now, there's a habit that was built up. There was a
Hmm.
habit of, right, because I know I've memorized the layout of the store, right? Just pathways, neurological pathways set,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So this past time, I needed something really quick. I need something really quick. I had somewhere to go. And my kids watch their crazy mama go to Walmart parking lot and then do a hard U-turn. I said, no, I can do it.
Yeah.
It was hilarious because I said, then there's going to be Nazi uniforms and Walmart logos, and I'm going to be responsible for the Nazi and the Walmart. It's knocking on all these doors. I don't remember where I ended up going. Where did I end up going? I don't know if I went to Kroger, and I don't even know if Kroger's participating. I went somewhere. Oh, I went to Aldi's, the real German store.
Okay. Well,
I don't know what policies are, but I was like, I'll go back to Aldi's. But it was a literal, this is going to take me 20 more minutes,
mhm,
right? It was a literal, I've got to now plan, right? I can't do
mhm.
this last minute knee jerk. So this is going to take planning. This is going to take intention. But
Right.
isn't that our life period? Isn't that our goals
Yeah.
period? It's
Yeah.
going to take intentionality. You have to wake up. You can't robo sleep through
You
this,
cannot.
right? You have to be aware. So whether
Yeah.
you watch inauguration or not, you've got to be aware. We've got to be conscious, and we've got to be very intentional about, like you said, who we're funding. Because I never made that connection. Whoever was buying Tesla gave him the capital
Gave him
to
the
be where
capital.
he is.
That is correct.
So let's watch where we put our capital. And even if we can't move our human capital from our job right now,
Yeah.
there's certain things that we can't control.
They'll have
And
a
that's who
dollar.
we fund.
And
Yes.
this, I don't care what people say about capitalism. It definitely has its downfalls. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disagreeing with any of the things that it breeds with greed and things of that nature. But the beauty of capitalism is that you get choice. Out of all the other forms of government, corporate governance structures that exist, you get choice in capitalism. You get the ability to say there are Walmarts, Targets, Costco's, Sam's. all these Trader Joe's, Randall's, HEB's, Whole Foods, Central Markets, Publix, whatever. You get all these things, and you can say in a capitalistic society, I'm not going to store A because I don't like how they do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to go to store B and C because I like how they do this thing over here. And I'm going to put my money over here. The problem is that people don't exercise that choice. People want someone to dictate it for them. We've talked about this plenty of times. We just want to abdicate our responsibility in being accountable for things and taking responsibility. You don't have to go to Walmart if you don't want to go to Walmart. You can drive an extra 5 miles, 10 miles, 20 miles, whatever it is to get to another store because we live in a capitalistic country where you got options of things to do and places to go. You just have to exercise that option. So instead of waiting, so this is the same thing I say about like people who talking about food and food quality and all this other stuff. You out here buying food that got red number 3 in it. You don't have to buy the food that got red number 3 in it. And guess what? If you didn't buy the food that had red number 3 in it, red number 3 wouldn't be in your food no more. Period. Because nobody in business, none of these big corporations are trying to sell you stuff that you ain't buying. Period. That's why they discontinue products all the time. They'd be like, oh, that product not selling, pull it from the shelf, and then we're not making it no more. So you're waiting for the government to mandate red number 3 is illegal. You can mandate red number 3 is illegal for your own life.
I like that. I like that.
Flip the box over, read the ingredients. If you don't like illegal. The ingredients, right. you put that back on the shelf.
Throw products in trash. Illegal.
Right.
Mandated illegal yourself. You said exercise. That's something we don't tend to do in our mind and our bodies, but we got to get better. Right. And you said people abdicate their freedoms. We allow others to dictate to us, i.e., dictator. You're right. This is our issue, right? We've led up to this.
This is why we are where we are. Which it's very hard for me to blame. Like people want me to blame the government and blame your representatives and blame the corporations. It's very hard for me to get myself to that place to blame them because they only exist because you exist. They are doing what you are telling them to do. And the only way that they know what to do, especially a corporation, the only way it knows to do what it does is based on dollars. It is basing it on sales. When a product sells, that indicates to a company, oh, my customers like this product. We should keep doing this product because they like this product.
Feeling guilty about drinking that Coke Zero. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does, and it doesn't matter whether it's B2C or B2B or whatever. Whether it's business to business, business to consumer, whatever the case is, companies are looking at their sales. And when they look at their product lines and all their product offerings, they're like, oh, okay, these are our top 5 sellers. Let's keep pushing that. Let's put ads, marketing. We want to grow our market in that space. We want to do these things. These are our bottom 2. It's really, we don't have a margin on this to keep doing this. Let's just pull these from the market. They're not selling. We shouldn't do them.
Okay. I mean, so essentially, you're saying we have all the power. We're just not exercising it.
That is correct.
So freedom. So this is going to be a test of deciding if we truly want to be free.
That's correct.
Do we mean what we say when we want to be free? Because when I'm limiting somebody else's choice, I'm eliminating choices, period, for myself. So a test of freedom. What do we really say we want? If we really want a dictator, that's exactly what we'll have.
Yeah, that's correct. And you do have to plan, to your point. You have to be intentional, right? Like, I don't like the direction that Whole Foods has taken. I don't. Initially, they were the company that had, the non-GMOs, the organic foods, all of that. They actually had a goal to have all GMOs off of their shelf by 2030. Since Bezos has taken over, look, and that's fine. He can do whatever he want to do. It's his company. We got all kind of GMO products on the shelf. We like, okay, here we go. We putting Cheerios out here. We putting all the things. Do whatever you want to do. We just putting it out here. Just regular grocery store time. Well, I don't like that direction. My husband doesn't like that direction. So now we have to be more into. We used to just be able to run to Whole Foods, get all the stuff we wanted, and be done. Now we got to go to the farmer's market and talk to people about what they did with their animals and find out what they put on to keep the pest away from their vegetables. And we got to find the people who make the milk. And then we got to go to our friend at Warden and get a chicken. And we got to do like, it's a lot. It's a lot. But I also know that I don't like the direction of that company. I don't like what they're doing. Therefore, I'm going to pull back my dollars that used to go there. I'm not saying I don't go there at all anymore. I certainly do still go, but I definitely am not giving them the amount of money and attention that they used to get previously.
But we have some good work to do.
We
I
do.
mean, and some good work
And
to
it's
do.
work you have control over. It's nothing like being able to take control.
Take control back.
When you get to, you can only manage the things that you control. And so often we be spinning our wheels on stuff that are outside of your control. There are things that are outside of your control. Don't get me wrong. Like us fighting the war in Afghanistan, that's outside of your control. It's not really a lot you can do about that. They're going to do what they want to do. I mean, you can vote people out and put people in and all of that. But the war is the war. They started the war, people, whatever, right? But there are things in your immediate control that you can see significant changes in fairly quickly.
So you're basically talking about and defining what is the work of freedom. That's what I'm hearing. What is the work of freedom?
Yep.
What is in our immediate control? What can we immediately see change? Results.
Yep. Results.
I like this. This sounds less burdensome and hopeless.
Yeah, it's
this is
hope.
immediate.
Look at us talking about hope today. We started out hopeless and we ended on hope. Ain't that great? Look at us go.
I love it. Freedom work. I love it. It is what it is. And because I think our saving grace, because we are a capitalist society, it's very hard to descend into abyss unless you vote for them potatoes every day. Like, we just don't have to buy potatoes every day. We don't have to you know what I'm saying? Like, just don't buy the potatoes and it's going to make them change.
I'll make them change.
Like that.
Just going to make them change. Stop buying everything that got a number in it, red, yellow, green, blue, all of them. Stop buying all of that. And I guarantee you it comes off the shelf. It will come off the shelf. Kellogg's and Campbell's and all of them. Stop buying bottled water. Stop helping Nestle amass what should be free for everybody.
That's true. That's true.
Stop helping Nestle do that. Or buy responsible, sustainable bottled water. Or get yourself a Brita water purifier. Run your tap, put it through the filter, and call it a day. Right? Like, there are so many options. Just again, the beauty of capitalism. I get all the bad things and whatever, and you got to pick a system. The beauty of capitalism is that you have options. And you don't have to wait for the government to come with a policy to fix it. You don't have to wait for somebody else to save you. You can organize yourselves.
That's true. That's true. And I'm living.
When people were protesting Chick-fil-A, when the LGBTQ IA population and supporters and advocates were boycotting Chick-fil-A. And I was like, okay. I mean, I was boycotting Chick-fil-A before that because they got 86 ingredients and they got their chicken nugget. Literally, that's not no joke. 86 ingredients in a chicken nugget. McDonald's has less ingredients in their chicken nugget. Okay, so I was
the conservatives.
I was like, y'all could stop Chick-fil-A today. You stop Chick-fil-A today. But then everybody, the problem is that people want to go back to the thing because they really like the thing. So they don't want to exercise the control
I'm sorry, hence the abusive relationship. I'm just saying, everything to me goes back to one thing I learned.
Oh,
I'm gonna
yeah.
bring this up and close it about the will is that you can't be the victim without being the abuser.
Mm-hmm.
You're all the parts at different times,
Yep.
right? So we're all complicit. If you want to get on that wheel, then that means you're also part of that game.
Yes.
So I love what you're saying because it rings true. Like, we're all complicit. So be very careful about the choice that you're making when you're talking about freedom.
Yep.
Right? When we're talking
Yep.
about freedom, we can't abdicate freedom because then that's just not freedom anymore.
Correct. Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just going to be a test of if we mean what we really say and if we say what we really mean. That's all this is.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, we get to see who's going to be about their word and who's going to abdicate for a Pepsi Cola and some air conditioning. That might be me sometimes. That's all I'm saying.
It's the South and it's hot. So the only reason why the South has an economy is because somebody invented the air conditioner. Because if it didn't happen, wasn't nobody gonna be here. Let's be clear. Ain't nobody sitting here in 105-degree, 100% humidity. It's not happening. Okay. Okay.
Seriously. Seriously. As soon as and today it's just Wi-Fi. So you
But you can pick, right? Look at all the companies you have that you can pick from that can provide you even and now you don't even have to have Wi-Fi on your home. You can get a little box from T-Mobile. You can get a hotspot from AT&T or
that's
Verizon.
true.
You can go with your cable company if you like your cable company. You can stream. You don't even have to have a cable company no more. You can stream stuff. So if you only want to support CBS, you can go right there to Paramount Plus and be like, I don't like none of these other platforms. I'm doing, or if I only
That's
want to do
true.
Netflix, I don't care about none of it. You don't even have to like that. Again, the beauty of it all.
Choices.
You
Choices.
have choice and so much control in these situations.
Okay. I see that we in each community, because I'm getting up there, the older we need choice masters. I'm voting for somebody who knows all the choices. I'm abdicating this little part of my freedom to you. I come to you, you tell me all my choices,
I mean,
and I pick.
let me tell
We
you,
need people who are knowledgeable of all these choices.
that exists.
It does.
It's called Google.
Oh, okay.
You just Google, you be like, does so and so have a policy on blah? And then Google will miraculously show you a lot of stuff. Some of it is nonsensical, so you need to dig into it because it just be people out there randomly spewing some stuff that they don't know. And I tell you this, my husband, he is the greatest because he will write a company in a second. And he will be he's a big supplement person and he gives me my supplements and all the things for all the stuff. And he will write a company in a second and be like, can you please provide me your certificate of whatever and what testing organization you used for these supplements or whatever? And the company will send it to him. You can easily write a
Wow.
company. I write companies too,
That's
and I'm
true.
like, hey, where's your product
Honest.
manufactured? It doesn't say. It's you've conveniently left off where your product is produced. Where's your product produced? And then people, oh, well, it's sustainably produced in China. Okay, well, I'm not really supporting the Chinese government's manufacturing of things right now, so I'm not gonna do that thing, right? So it's the same. Oh, well, we have to coming up to the door now. You probably hear my dog barking. But yeah, I mean, you can write a company. They'll tell you. They will tell you. And if they don't want to tell you, that's you being told right there.
Ah, well, there you go. All this empowerment, intentional goals, freedom. Let's go. Look, I'm ready. Look, I love the way you say that. I'm president. This is illegal. I
Yep,
decide.
yep, yep. I think I need to open the door. Hold on, be right back.
I'm so excited about the freedom work and the freedom of choice and the reminder of what we are master of in our lives. I'm really pumped about choices and the fact that I can read. Look, I was just going over the fact that I'm excited for the freedom work, for being a master of choices, and that we can read.
Yes, 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 and all the yeses.
that we
Okay,
could read because that was never nobody's intention to
you
plan,
can
but here we
read.
are reading.
You are literate. You are literate. You can read,
I can read, and they're
which
not
means
changing the
you
street
can
sign.
read the back
So
of a package. You can read where something's made. You can email a company and ask them to give you something that you can read to know what's what you reading is fundamental.
reading is fundamental, and we got it. Hey, and we got it.
Yep.
So I don't know. Are you going to watch the inauguration or are you going to pass?
It's mainly because I got meetings in the whole afternoon. So I will be I have meetings. I do. I have some
Oh,
meetings
Martin
in the
Luther
whole afternoon on Martin Luther King Day. On Martin Luther King Day. There are some clients who are closed today, and then there are other clients who are not closed today. So it just depends on the client. Um, so you know.
Okay. Well, Martin would want you to make that money. So look, ain't nothing
Martin
wrong
would
with that.
not be opposed to making the money. That is
The
correct.
money,
Economic liberation starts with you making the money.
the money. Yes. Yes. So
Yeah. Are you going to
we
go to
adhere
any
to
of the
that.
parades or any of the things or?
Oh, no, it's too cold.
Okay, yes, it is cold. It is cold. It's very cold. Okay.
No, and I stopped doing the parades, I think years ago, but I do try to have the lessons. My son returns today at 1.
Okay.
We may watch a Black civil rights, something they have not seen
Okay.
that they need to watch and see to learn more about American history.
Okay.
I have not shown them because I think the 14-year-old, the 10-year-old could, but Gracie's 7. She's it's horrifying. So, but the 10-year-old, 14, we go over
Some lessons. Okay.
some lessons,
I like it.
some lessons.
I
Yeah.
like it. I like it.
So,
Okay.
so we'll do that with our red beans and rice today. Well, I know you have a meeting, so
Yeah.
blessed be everybody. Happy day,
Thanks,
whatever day you choose.
everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.